I don't want to do that then, because we're gonna get another attack on Instagram.
Oh my god, not an attack on Instagram.
Okay. What's today? Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what today is?
Dude, like the date.
This
My
is
days
dynamic.
have been kind of like blending together.
Oh, we're here at Noel. Loera.
Yeah. Well, that's like half of my full name for you.
Oh, you have like 30 names, like no, Mozart's full name.
What was Mozart's full name?
I don't know. No, who was the artist that we spoke about like a few months ago that had an extremely long name? Mexican composer.
¿Cuál de todos?
But no, his name is ridiculously long. I think Agustin Lara's name.
Oh yeah. I know.
It had
Yeah.
like 8 names in it.
Yeah, I've seen that. And it's like, man, what the hell? That's a lot. Yeah,
Yeah.
I did know about that. What Agustin Lara's name.
No, we're here with Noel. It's filling in for Matt today, who couldn't be here. He had some things to take care of. But we gotta
Is he working on some cars? Is that what he's doing?
probably. I know his car messed up.
Oh.
Man, his cars are always messing up.
Yeah, no, I know. I mean, it's an older car. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, and he doesn't want to just go get like a new one. He's like, nah.
Yeah, it was
New car.
El Camino.
But it's been a while since we've done this. That episode. So for the people who have no idea who Noel is, Noel was a guest. It was like last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
It was last year in.
Midst of the pandemic. Nah, well, I mean, was
Well,
it?
It was last year in, I think, October.
Yeah.
Yeah, was it before we had the intro or the theme song or after?
I think like a little bit after. Wait. Yeah, it was a little bit after.
Yeah, it was around that time. Well, Noel's the one who made the song. Is it still this button? Yeah. So.
Dude, it's a banger. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that because we said at the end of the podcast that if you listen to the very end, you'll hear that's a stupid theme song.
I'm like, who lives in the pineapple under the sea? Dude, Eli, he like always like he'll just be like messing around like with the guitarra. He'll like go up to Matt, he's like, Los Mariachi Sagas. Like what's going on? Like it's the and then because Matt will start playing like some joropo, like I don't know, like what is that song? Tu nombre me sabe hierba.
Oh yeah.
And then Eli will just kind of like Los Mariachi Sagas. He's like, wrong song.
Man, we're gonna have Eli on here, but that was before I moved, and then I moved again. But so when we were going live on Facebook, and that was cool because we could interact with the people in real time, and it made the editing a lot easier, and getting the audio a lot easier because all I had to do was save the video from the live to my iPad.
Yeah.
That's where I was going live from. And all I had to do was import that video into LumaFusion, which took seconds because it was already in the camera roll, and extract the audio, which was already done because we're using audio from here, connected to the iPad. So it just made it so much faster. The issues was sometimes Wi-Fi would go out. Or
I know. I remember I forgot what live I was watching, and I was like, "Hey man, like your Wi-Fi isn't working. What's going on?"
Yeah, that was shitty.
And then both of you were like, "Ah, shit, the Wi-Fi's not like working."
Yeah, we talked. I don't know, a couple minutes, and I looked. I'm like, "Yo, we're not live anymore. We've just been talking to nobody." But So I always have to have Wi-Fi and then the iPad set up, and since the iPad's angle, it's kind of annoying because it has to be a certain distance away. So I can't have like pad right here because it's just gonna
It isn't
be too close.
there isn't like an what is it called? Because like on the iPhone, you can like press something and it'll like widen the angle.
No, when you're going live. So when you're going live, it just kind of sets at one in a zoom angle or one viewing angle.
Oh, okay, I see.
And it just stays there. That's an annoying thing. Like if I was just using the regular camera, I could zoom out or zoom in. When you go live, it just sticks to one.
I see.
Matt and I haven't recorded an episode since, since like September.
God damn.
We're in November, so there's been episodes being released, but those have been recorded in advance. Let's see, because I recorded with Ruben, a trumpet player.
Oh, yeah.
That episode was that was a good episode. It has like over 500 views now on YouTube.
Dang, dude, that's real good.
And yeah, that was like the certain most viewed. Oh, you know what happened recently? And I think I still have it on my phone. And it's just, damn it, it already erased. But Alejandro from Sol Mexico followed us on the podcast.
Alejandro, guitar player.
Guitar player. Yeah.
That's cool.
And I was like, cool. It was like cool seeing it, but I'm like, yo, you were in our podcast like a year ago. And you're like just following us now.
He's like, I'm too important for y'all. Gotcha. Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. He finally followed us. Now what? Now after that episode, we got a lot more followers.
Yeah. What are you talking about? I've been hanging out recently with I don't know if you can keep this in this, but with like Ricky, Monica, and all of them.
Yeah.
Man, they got some stories.
Oh, you do?
Crazy stories. Yeah.
Can you say them on here?
Probably not.
Well, you talk about yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Ricky, we're gonna have Ricky, but he had to leave. He left up to LA or he
left back to LA. He's coming back actually tomorrow, I think.
Tomorrow. Yeah, I mean it's hard now since literally the only times we can record is weekends, unless we do like virtual like Zoom or FaceTime, which I really don't want to do. It's it sucks doing that.
I mean, hey, if y'all have time, if you and Matt have time during the week, like late at night.
I'll see if we can, but I know. So we haven't recorded in a while, and man, a shitload has happened since we recorded. I don't live in Austin anymore. Well, I didn't live in Austin back then, but I didn't live in the Valley anymore. I moved to a little city called Gatesville, and there's so much. I'll talk about my first day there. So this town is small. All right, 6,000 people, and mostly I think it's like 80% white.
Oh God!
In that town.
Is it one of those like if you're a minority you can't be out past like a certain time because you might get shot?
It's not a sunset town. Cause you got sunset towns in Texas.
It's like it ain't no Wimberley.
Man, but what's funny or ironic is most of the people that are Hispanic or Mexican that do live there work at any of the 4 Mexican restaurants in town.
Oh God. Not bad.
I'm like, it's like that. I'm like, oh, okay. I work at a company there that's pretty well known because it's like one of 2 plants in that whole city. So my first day there, it was on a Wednesday. I get there like at 9 because doing orientation and stuff. And so my first day, I was shadowing this guy building a mannequin. 'Cause we build CPR mannequins.
Mm-hmm.
And just seeing him go through the process to better understand what we're doing. And halfway through, HR came around with like a flyer saying in tooling, in our tooling department, they're getting rid of a lot of like old stuff that's been there for years that they're just gonna throw away, or if people want it. There's like cabinets or air compressors or some tools or anything, whatever people want.
Yeah.
And since I'm in the engineering department, I have like an email specific for the company and stuff. So HR doesn't really go around engineering and all this stuff because we get emails. But the people on the floor and production, they don't. So he took a break. The guy was shadowing, and he's like, "I'm gonna go and see what they got over there." I was like, "Cool." I didn't go. I was just kind of just still walking around, looking and seeing what there is at the plant. And so, anyways, he finishes building the mannequin. I go back to my desk, and I see that email. I see the email came, and they're like, the stuff will be here until Thursday, the end of the day, Thursday. So I finished the day. I think I don't know. I finished like at 4:30 or 5 around there, and I was parked on the other side of the building because it's kind of a big place. Tooling is on the opposite side of the engineering department for manufacturing. So I get in my car and I'm like leaving, and then I'm like, let me see what they had over there, tooling, because they still have stuff. So I drive around and I pull up right to where the stuff is at, the tooling department. I see there's this guy there who's kind of looking through it, and I'm like, I'll just sit here and wait for him to leave. Since he was leaving, he's gonna get his big old pickup truck. Cause everybody drives pickup trucks over there, but
really?
like big, friggin' like King Ranch size trucks.
Oh God. Okay.
So he was getting his truck, right, and he stopped, and he turned and he looked at me, and then he comes to my car, right to my window, still sitting in my car. I roll it down, and then he just says, "Do you need help with anything?" Or no, what the fuck he said? He didn't say that. He said, yeah, it was something like that, but it was like, or no, he said, "Do you need something?" And I was like, no, I'm sitting here, just leaving. And then he just kind of looks at me for a bit. All right, so this is this like old white guy. He had like this cowboy hat, right, button up and big old mustache. And then he looks at me, and after a few seconds, he turns his head, right, and he's looking down. And he stays looking down, and he's like, "Oh, shit." He's like, "I'm sorry, I didn't recognize you." And he's like, "I'm sorry," and he leaves.
What the fuck? What?
Then he just gets in his truck and leaves.
Oh, okay.
He assumed I was like
just some random
person that pulled up and was there gonna grab stuff or something.
Oh, but of course, because you're brown, he's like, he's probably up to no good. Some bullshit.
Yeah. I was so pissed. I just left.
Bro, you should have been like, fuck you, man.
Yeah, I wanted to. And then it's funny is so wherever I clock in, it's right in front of the HR office. And I go, and then I'm clocking in the next day, and then the HR lady, she tells me, she asked me, I was like, "How was your first day?" I was like, "Great."
You should have told her, dude. You should have been like,
this.
"Man, fucking racist white people."
Yeah, but then I was like, I mean, that's how the town. It's here. I mean, that's where I decided to go move and work.
Yeah.
But that was my first day there, and I was like, ah, shit.
This is gonna be a wild ride.
Yeah, no, it's been cool, but I'm learning a lot. Started working on like projects that they've given me for the company, and then oh man, I can't remember. There's so many gigs. I've done so many gigs since then, and there's a lot of crazy shit that happened. Can't really remember it, but I do remember yesterday because it just happened. So our last gig, or second to the last gig, there was this girl, or well, two, looked ridiculously young. I mean, they looked like 12.
Oh, dear.
And so we walk in. It was this guy's birthday, and man, this guy was kind of he's pissing me off a little. You ever get like those clients where somebody like sings, but they actually sing, or they've practiced and I guess they perform somewhat like a little bit, but not to like the level where they do it professionally every week, but they can sing.
Yeah.
They're just pretty raw at it.
Yeah, I've gotten like really good singers, some that can even like probably pull like Luis Miguel like impersonations, and then I've gotten like really bad like where they can't sing. I've gotten all ranges of that. Yeah.
Well, this guy, there's two stories. They're both at the same party. They're unrelated, but let's talk about the girl first. So we were standing in front of the TV right in the living room, and she was sitting on the couch facing us.
Yeah.
I said this girl looked young, like 12 to 15 years old, and there was this baby next to her. Baby didn't really look like her. The baby looked mixed. Baby looked like black and Mexican kind of mixed, with like little curly hair, dark skin. And then I saw her like kind of playing with the baby or taking her. I was like, well, maybe related or something. No, yo, dude, this baby was hers.
Oh.
And when I tell you she looks 12, she looked 12. And for a while it was like, well, maybe she's just takes care of him a lot, babysitter or something.
Yeah.
And she started breastfeeding him.
What the You're like, wait, where's a 12-year-old breastfeeding a child? What? What's going on?
And I was like, oh, no, she's not 12. I was like, oh shit. Has that happened at a gig where a lady would just start breastfeeding their child right in front of you?
I don't. And a lot of things have happened to me at gigs, like where I've seen clients do weird shit. But like, I mean, okay, breastfeeding isn't weird, but like I've never seen anyone breastfeed at a gig.
It's not, and she can do that. It's fine.
Yeah.
It just threw it off more because of how young she looked.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's weird. But then she was drinking like some kind of liquor and vaping. So
that's so like not good for the baby.
I know. So at first, I was like, oh, it's baby taking care of. I was like, cool. And she started like vaping in front of the baby and drinking. No. And I'm like, oh, okay, you know. And then after she drank and vaped, then she started breastfeeding him.
Oh, damn, just getting the baby fucked up.
Yeah.
She's like, here, you want this mixture of like milk and liquor? No, I don't know. I don't know if that works that way, but
I don't think so. But it was just still, it was so. And then there's this other girl who looked a little bit older, also had a kid, and it was just like crazy. And then so she did the thing where she didn't like openly, I guess, breastfeed the baby, where she just like took off her shirt and started breastfeeding.
Yeah.
She had this thing where, like, I guess moms would put on so they can put the baby underneath.
Oh yeah.
It wraps around their chest or their shoulders. Mm-hmm. But he said she was directly in front of us, and there was one point where she moved, and so the baby moved and exposed herself, and I was looking right at that direction, and then as soon as that happened, I was like, "Oh shit!" I didn't know what it. I instantly like looked up. I didn't know what to do.
You're just all panicked, like,
because I was just, I don't know what we were doing. Well, we were playing a song, and I was just looking because, like, you know, you just stare off into space sometimes during gigs. You get bored.
Did you go, Jesus Christ?
I was like, it was right at that. I was just staring, and then I was like, oh. I just look up.
You were just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey man, it's a natural part of life.
It is, and we as people have changed that and made it taboo.
Made it into like a perversion or whatever, but I mean, people are more normalizing it now than it used to be.
Yeah, girls want to walk around with their shirt off. Do that.
I think that's A-okay in my book.
That brings me to another thing that happened Friday night. Yo, this was so weird. It almost feels like a dream, like what happened. So we did a gig in Del Valley, and then went back to Buster. And I stay with a friend of mine in Austin, at their apartment in North Austin. And usually, what I'll do is as soon as I get there, like I park in the visitor parking, right, and then I quickly just change out of my suit. I don't want to like walk all the way up there, up the stairs, in my suit, and change on that. So I'll just change right outside my car into like regular clothes. And at the moment I was changing my pants, take off my mariachi pants, put on regular jeans. This truck was driving by. Because, I mean, it's just an open area. That's where the visitor parking is. And it was this girl, drunk as fuck, and this other girl, probably in her 30s. She pulls up and starts yelling at me, saying, this is all in Spanish, too. She's like, why are you changing by yourself? And
it's like, what would you prefer that I use assistance from somebody, or like what the hell?
And I was just like, just cause I was like, I didn't know what to say to that. She was, I guess, trying to be flirty, but I was like, cause I don't know, I am. And she stayed there, right? She just kept talking, and then couldn't really understand shit she was saying. I got closer to the truck, and then I got closer, and she just kept looking at me and purposely like looking down at me and pointing, and it got really weird
staring and pointing
at that point, kind of, yeah, like at me. She just kept like talking and being like, what are you doing tonight, or who you staying with?
Yeah.
Or should and then I said, I was like, well, what are you doing? And she's like, whatever you want.
Oh no.
And I guess that's always like one like male fantasy where a girl will pull up to you and then just start like being very sexual.
Yeah.
It's weird.
No, I'm sure.
I didn't know what to do.
You're like, oh, this is how I feel.
I was like, this is how girls feel.
Yeah.
Every day of their life.
She was like, oh, how the turntables. Nah.
And then her friend, she had a friend next to her in the passenger seat. The girl didn't say anything though.
She's just like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Pretty drunk. But the guy, I'll tell you the other story, the one who sings. He sang okay. He couldn't really get really high, his voice would either crack or go away. Either he couldn't really sing that high, or he was actually feeling sick.
Yeah.
But
COVID? Yeah.
he knew almost. Well, I mean, we played all the songs that he was requesting,
Yeah.
so he pretty much knew all the words. But he asked for Paloma Negra, and that's the one that I do. I've been singing it for a long time, and so it started. Right, and Paloma Negra changes keys. So in the first half, it's kind of low.
Yeah.
And it's hard to project at something that's that low. And he was one of those guys, one of those clients where they'll get on you and they'll be like, sing louder, and till they sing with more. And he started like singing along with me like louder as fuck. I'm like, well, just because you sing louder doesn't mean it sounds better. Just like screaming.
Yeah. Whenever I've got like those clients, like I'm like, oh, you know what? Fuck you. I'm not singing. And I'll just like stop. I'll just like go to the back. And if it's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, nah, he's gonna fucking make me fucking destroy my voice? Like, I'm not doing that.
I did that a while ago. This is one of the things I mentioned the last podcast Matt and I did together. There's a guy, we're singing Mujeres Divinas. Oh, this is when that girl grabbed me. Different girl.
Oh.
That girl's been grabbing me lately. But this guy, I was singing Mujeres Divinas, and he was saying to sing it louder. Like con ganas or something. What the fuck he said. So then I sang it softer.
Oh, I've done that too.
And then he stopped saying stuff.
Yeah, that happened to me when I was with Suroeste. There's one guy, he kept requesting like all of these songs, and he kept being like, sing louder, and I just kept like singing softer and softer. He's like, no, that's not what I asked you, and I was like, that's what you don't ask me, like just flat out don't ask me. That's why I'm doing that. And then he's like, oh, and then after we're like, yeah, like we're expecting, because like they're at Casa Garcia's, they would only do it by tip, right? Like there was no specific like rate per song. But like this motherfucker, like after fucking like 10 songs, is like, okay, here's $3. Dude, like we're like so like, what the hell, dude? And then after that, we're like, yeah, like if he ever comes again, like we're not playing for him. Fuck that guy.
But this guy from yesterday, was singing Paloma Negra, and he was like louder, and then I just kept singing the same way. I'm like, dude, shut up. And so I kept singing. Right, then the key change came. That's right. It's loud as fuck. You go up to an F sharp if you're singing in D.
Yeah.
Because you go to tercera and it's on D. So it got to that point, and then when I'm singing F sharp, it has to be fucking loud because that's up in my register. And I sang it pretty well. We got to the point where the whole fucking room like stopped talking. And was just listening to me sing because they're loud as fuck the whole night.
Yeah. And
we finished, right? And then he comes to me, and he just sticks his fist out like that. He's like a little fist bump. He's like, "That was good." I was like, "Yeah, I know what I'm doing. I do this for a living. Well, kind of, but I do this every week." So he was just being annoying like that. It's very obvious, I guess, in our group because Asael sings loud as fuck.
Oh, yeah.
With anything and everything. And I don't know how he does it. I don't know if he has a big ass stomach, but he he can just project everything. I'm like, I can't do that. So if Asael singing a song and then I'm singing next, you're gonna hear a drastic change in dynamics.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I'm not able to do that. So if I go and they're like, sing louder, sing like that, I'm like, I don't know how the fuck he does it. I mean, he sings everything the same, but he sings it loud. And but afterwards, he was like, "Yeah, that was good." It's like, I know. Yeah, I knew it was gonna be good if you just chill.
Yeah.
But the gigs were Yeah, I think we had 6 hours yesterday.
Yesterday? Damn.
Yeah.
How many did we have? We had about 5? 4? I don't remember. We didn't have a lot. I mean, like, we had enough, but not as much as I would want. Nah.
It's been up and down. Last week I took the weekend off, and that was the first weekend I hadn't done gigs that I didn't work since. Yeah, voluntarily, I don't remember the last time I took a weekend off, because the last time I didn't play was the freeze in February.
Oh.
It was impossible.
Yeah.
I couldn't drive on the road.
Oh, they tell you about that shit. So, I had the first. I think it was like the first or second day that like the freeze was really bad, where like you couldn't drive on the street. My dumbass had a gig. Oh, it was on Valentine's Day. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
But it was just a trio gig, and I was like, "Fuck it!" Like, I'm still going. I don't care. It's in Kyle. It's like 5 minutes away. Cause it was like in the, or not 5 minutes away. It was like probably like 10 minutes away, but it was like in the southern end of Kyle. But I had to go pick up the other 2 people that were going. It was Sophia, and what's his name? He plays guitar. He was gigging with you for a little bit.
Pablo,
yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
that kid didn't come back.
I know. I was
He
like,
stayed in El Paso. I messaged him because it would be cool and play, and I'm like, oye bebé, ¿cuándo vienes? He's like, nunca. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm not coming back. And so I'm like, why? He's like, I didn't like it there.
dang.
He really didn't like the program or
Really?
how it was at Tech State. I was like,
I mean, to each their own. Yeah. But yeah, dude. I went to go pick him up, and imagine my car like fucking like. So it was by where the library is, like little street.
Mm-hmm.
My car was just. And Sophia and Pablo were like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" I was like, "I'm just trying to get to my gig." Oh my god, dude! It took us an hour.
No. Yeah.
Me driving fucking like. I probably drove like 5 miles per hour the whole time. It was rough, and then
Could have walked faster.
I know, and then we were like halfway through, and I was like, "Dude, we should just like fucking head back. Like this is too much." Like. And then we were like, well, I mean, we're basically already getting to Kyle. Like, why don't we just do the gig? And I was like, okay, fuck it. And because, like, I was like, I think we're going to show up late. And the client was like, oh, you take your time. Like, I know that the weather's kind of bad. So I was like,
Kind of bad.
I was like, kind of bad.
Shut down the whole state.
I know, dude. I nobody realized at that point.
Yeah.
Because cars were, like, stopped left and right. Where people thought they could drive and then they couldn't. And, no, yeah, dude, like, we ended up getting there, and then, like, I remember, like, in that same neighborhood, like, I was just trying to drive, and, like, I would stop, and the car would just keep going. And it was just kind of, like, like a little, like, you ever played air hockey?
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, the little puck. That's what my car felt like. It was just like, doop, doop, doop. And then, like, I finally got a chance to park it, and then we're all getting off, and I almost fucking, like, fall flat on my face. Because it's so slippery.
I remember that day I was going to the gig, and I was like, all right. I was like, fuck it, I'm going. Got in my car. I couldn't drive because whenever I would go, my car would just be sliding down the hill.
Oh my god!
And I'm like,
oh yeah, because you were going to that one at first.
yeah, because you called me the night before, and the night before it was
fine. Yeah.
It was like cold and icy, but there was no snow and none of that. And then the next morning, you wake up, it was like piles of snow.
Yeah. Oh, because remember we did a gig that same day or the day before.
Yeah, we was at the funeral.
Yeah, it was like
shit, dude. That I still have pictures. The tree was frozen.
I remember that. And dude, I remember you like shivering like bad, and I was like, "Man, are you okay?" You're like, "No, not really." But I'll pull through.
Oh yeah, so I don't remember how pictures, but my hands, were
turning
completely
purple.
red.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't feel the guitarron, the neck. Like when I would
Yeah.
press down, I couldn't feel where I was pressing.
Oh, dude, that sounds painful as fuck.
And I was like, oh shit, that's not good. That's frostbite.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that time was bad, but that was the last time I didn't play a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't really voluntary. Couldn't, because that weekend, the Saturday before, it was the Saturday before that, because so the snow here in Texas, at least Central Texas, came on a Sunday, so the 15th, February 15th, February 14th, which is a Saturday. It was so cold. It's really cold. But it wasn't anything like that. But at that time, we were still driving individual cars. Because Eugenio wasn't going as often.
Yeah.
And it was going to one of these back roads out in Del Valle area.
Mm-hmm.
And I was driving, and it was dark as fuck, right? So the stop sign randomly shows up. I was like, oh shit, step on the brake. My car would not stop.
Oh, no.
It slid through the intersection. Like, it would not stop. I stepped on the brake, and it wouldn't stop. Luckily, there was no other cars.
Oh, my God.
But my car just kept going. And I was like, oh, shit. That was, I think that was on my way home. So it was the end of the night.
Dude, that's scary as fuck.
And I got home, and I was like, yeah. Then the power went out. I mean, we've talked about this, man, and I talked about it afterwards. But now this past weekend, I was in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucking crazy. We had a regional conference for the fraternity.
Yeah.
That I joined. It's so weird being so whenever you join a fraternity, were you in any of the music or you had some issues with the
No. Oh, my God. What? No.
you know, did Find Me Alpha or
No. I was gonna rush Family Alpha, and then it just didn't happen. No, actually, okay. So, funny story about that. I actually, like, my first year at Texas State, some of the guys were like, yeah, you should, like, join Family Alpha. And I was like, yeah, sure. I was like, I guess. And I think I showed up to, like, because they were like, you need to show up to, like, events, though, like, so people can know who you are. And I was like, okay. But I was just like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I don't care enough to, like, actually do that. So I think I showed up to, like, open house. And then I showed up to, like, the last thing, which is, like, the formal thing that they have. And then they were like, okay, we're going to start the voting process to see who gets in. And then, like, it was, like, 3 in the morning, and they're like, oh, yeah, no, you didn't make it in. I was like, oh, okay. But then the next day, they start, like, I entered the music building, and they're just all, like, looking at me, and I was like, okay. It was weird. I was like, what's going on? Like, what did I do? And they're like, no, you should have got, like, some of the guys were like, you should have gotten in. I don't know why they didn't, like, choose you to go in. Like, we would have gotten to know you or blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was a big deal, apparently. Like,
I mean, Greek life is a big deal. In Texas State, you know, really in Texas in general, it's not as big as other places. Like one specifically is Florida.
mm-hmm.
Greek life in Florida is fucking insane. Like they'll have music fraternities don't really do this, and you know, music fraternities aren't really that huge. They're big in Texas.
Yeah.
In other states, maybe say like Midwest or something, some they don't even like exist. But in Texas, music fraternities are pretty big. In Florida though, they have big ass like events. What they call strolling is when you see the fraternities do their like synchronized dance and chants and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The fraternity that I joined was Omega Delta Phi.
Mm-hmm.
But it's so weird. Man.
Delta apple pie. You ever heard that one?
No.
Yeah, like some people will be like, Like, because you know how, like, with all the Greek letters or whatever, like, they just start to sound kind of all the same once you start going through, like, a bunch of them. So
Yeah.
people were like, yeah, I'm part of Delta Apple Pie, Delta Cream Cheese something. I don't know. Some bullshit.
Yeah, I have no idea how fraternities and sororities come up with the letters. You really choose anything you want as long as it's not already like basically registered or a fraternity that exists.
Yeah.
But since there's basically there's not a limitless. There is a limit because it would be a simple math equation, but the Greek alphabet, you have to choose from those
Yeah.
and make your fraternity or sorority. It can be anywhere from 2 to 3 letters. So it'll be a while before all of them are taken. But I guess there is a limit because eventually they're all going to be used, every combination.
Yeah.
But our fraternity is so different, at least at Texas State, because there's different fraternal councils or entities.
Mm.
There's Pan-Hellenic, which is like the historically black fraternity and sororities. And then there's MGC, which is multicultural.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all different kinds of people. And then there's IFC, which is Interfraternal Council, which technically isn't like race specific, but is mostly white frats and sororities. And then there's something Pan-Hellenic. There's another Pan-Hellenic one.
Yeah.
But the fraternity that I'm in, it's mostly MGC. Everywhere you go in the country is gonna be MGC,
Mm-hmm.
and they're big on strolling and events. And it was founded by Hispanics at Texas Tech, because they're like the only Hispanics in that whole fucking school, and they couldn't really like go to any other frat because they're all white. So they're like, well, let's start one ourselves.
Yeah.
So that's where it was founded, and that was the point. Then it turned into one culture, any race. Is our national slogan. So it's all inclusive, but at Texas State, because of the culture in Central Texas and at Texas State, there's a lot of white people, a lot more than I guess people would realize or like to admit. Texas State feels like mostly a white school.
Really? I never got that from. I mean, okay. Well, yeah, I guess.
I mean, do you ever go to the square or anywhere? It's all white people.
Hey, I've been to. No, well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. I went to the square last night. So wait, last night? No, not last night. Thursday night. Yeah, there was a lot of white people. But I mean, I don't know. To me, like, I see like all the other minorities there.
Of course, there are minorities. But that's exactly it. They're minorities. The majority is white.
Yeah.
But it's because of that. Basically, the chapter here, there's different chapters within the country. We switched to IFC, which is the mostly white frats.
Yeah.
But that was done years ago, like maybe over 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the reason they did that was because the white frats get recognized more and more funding and more pushed through the university compared to the other MGC that isn't that popular. So when I went to the regional conference last weekend, and that's why I took the weekend off, because we had a regional conference for all the chapters in this area, which is Baylor, UT, Texas State, like 4 San Antonio schools. There's UTSA, Our Lady of the Lake, Incarnate Ward, Texas A&M, San Antonio. Mm-hmm. Then Laredo. The chapter Laredo is one of the biggest chapters.
Really?
Those guys are crazy over there. fucking Hugh, they showed up with like 30 guys. Oh, that's one thing I'm gonna tell you. The way fucking Carlos talks, I'm convinced that's the Laredo accent.
Yeah. Wait, Carlos Alvarado?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just depends what side of Laredo. Because, I mean, you hear me and Stevie talking, we're, like, part of, like, the north side. But then Luis and Carlos are more, like, central. I mean, no, that's south. That's south, yeah. It's not as south as, like, Matt's girlfriend, Claire. Claire lives, like, south.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. She lives close by, like... Actually, she lives close by, like, where Carlos, I think, lives.
This is when these guys showed up. There was a guy who he was pretty thin, kind of tall, I guess, a little dark, and talking to him, and he started talking. And dude, if you close your eyes, it was Carlos talking to you. I was like, dude, why do y'all sound the same?
Right.
It's just, oh man, I don't know how to explain Carlos' accent, but it's funny.
Yeah. There is a specific, like, if you hear, like, the news and stuff, like, there's a specific accent that everyone speaks. And, like, I think when I first moved up here, I was like, you know what? I don't want to sound like that anymore. And just for me, it wasn't like I don't want to sound Hispanic or from Laredo. It was just kind of no, like, let me blend into, like, my surroundings, I guess.
Yeah.
I feel like I still have that accent, but, like, not as much anymore. Or not as prominent.
This is the way, people talk, and you hear Carlos talk. It's like, it's obviously different.
Yeah.
Just the way you enunciate words or his expression. It also has to do a lot with how expressive you are with certain words. And this guy was talking, and I'm like, dude, you just talk exactly the same. It's so fucking weird. But that chapter, Laredo, is one of the biggest ones, A&M International.
Oh, damn.
They I don't know, they party.
Yeah,
They fucking party like crazy over there.
I didn't know that. Damn. I thought there was, like... I thought fraternities were kind of non-existent in Laredo.
I don't think there's many, but that's
Yeah.
one of the ones. Again, I guess that's part of the reason they're so big. There's not many. But yeah, they had like 30 guys show up.
God damn.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
The UT Austin chapter is pretty big. But so through all of this, this was my first regional conference because I just joined in the spring. So it's weird position for me because I'm what you call somebody that just crossed. So I crossed in the spring. So this semester, if I was still in school, it'd be called a neo, which is someone that's new to the fraternity, first active semester. But at the same time, I'm an alumni, which is, I guess, has happened, but it's very rare. It means you crossed your last semester of school, which is, they don't do that very often. And I went, and I was the only person from Texas State that went. And I'm not even an active. I'm a fucking alumni.
How come the other guys didn't go?
So, he dropped your cap.
Oops.
It was the alumni tailgate because it was homecoming week.
Oh, yeah.
So they talked to regional director, and I've been talking to regional director, and they're like, because a lot of the guys in the active house right now at Texas State, they crossed not too far before me, so they've never experienced the tailgate or the homecoming or any of that. So they wanted them to experience that. I'm like, but all you're doing is hanging out with guys you already know and drinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, experience what? Y'all have never been to a regional conference either, which is bigger, more important. Especially since this fucking chapter. I'm just so pissed at this chapter. The nickname for the chapter, because our chapter is Row. And another thing that you might not know is it follows alphabetical order. So the chapter at Texas State is the alpha chapter.
Mm.
And then UT El Paso is the beta. And it just goes in chronological order.
Mm-hmm.
And Texas State's the Rho chapter. So Rho has a history of not showing up to any regional or national conference we have every year. So they started calling him No-Show Rho.
Oh, no.
And before No-Show Rho, it used to be called Death Row, which people are like, oh, yeah, that's cool. But then they stopped showing up. So they started calling him No-Show Rho.
Wait, but why Death Row?
Just because. Sounds cool. And I guess because, like, Death Row Records. They just got it from that.
Oh.
Just started calling themselves Death Row. And also, Row was pretty bad with hazing.
Oh.
Back in the day.
Oh. Did they kill somebody?
They didn't kill nobody, but shit.
Like, who was the fraternity?
Lit people on fire.
Oh, what the fuck? Like, who was that fraternity? It was here at Texas State, wasn't it? That like they drowned somebody.
Yeah, there's a fraternity, Delta Sig.
Mm.
Pledge died. Alcohol poisoning.
Oh, yeah. There's alcohol
That's when Greek life really got shut down at Texas State for a while.
Yeah, that wasn't even... Well...
It was like 2017.
Yeah, that wasn't... Really? 2017?
17 or 18 around there.
You sure? I thought that was definitely like before I even got there, and I got there in 2016.
Well, that one in 2017 where the guy died, that was the most recent one. There had been other stuff previously, but that one is more big or noticeable or notable because that same year it started happening all around the country. So then there started being laws put in place against hazing. There always was laws. Nobody gave a fuck. None of the chapters or fraternities ever cared because nothing would happen as long as nobody died.
Yeah.
But more and more people started dying, which is fucking insane. That
reminds me, that was around the same time that it was like stabbings and shootings of like a bunch of Greek life people at UT.
Okay,
remember?
Yeah. So that that was what was happened before you, and I think I might have mentioned that, or not exactly the people getting targeted, but we were gonna do a gig. Let's get back to Mariachi. At UT at a sorority house. I don't know which sorority, but it was when I was still with Alex. Right, so Mariachi mode. Yeah. So he would get those gigs. And when he told me, I was like, cool. We're gonna play. And we had actually had to play at a sorority house before.
Yeah.
But I think it's gonna be a day event. So it's just gonna be nothing but fucking sorority girls at UT.
Yeah.
Like,
was I there for that one? I think I was.
I remember it was me, Alex, little Alex, and Steve.
Oh.
Maybe you went a different time. But when I went, it was just us four.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
So we're going to do that gig. And he tells me. But then they canceled it because of all this stuff about Greeks getting targeted. They canceled it for cultural appropriations.
I think I do remember, that.
I don't know, maybe you were... I don't think you were in the group at that time. But I know I've told this story.
It was 2017, I probably was, yeah.
No, I think this might have been before 2016. I don't know. It gets blurry. It's been many years.
Yeah.
But we didn't do the gig because the sorority was like basically a white sorority.
Oh, were they trying to fucking... Were they trying to have the sombreros and like the fucking serapes and shit?
I mean, they probably were, but we don't know. They just canceled it, and that was around that time too. But UT was fucked up. There was a frat that part of the process is you had to bite the head off of a hamster.
What the fuck? That's so gross.
Yeah, you had to fuck a goat.
That's...
The white frats are crazy.
Yeah. Man, these white people, bro.
I didn't have to do that.
They'd be fucking wild, and it's like, what the fuck? What are y'all doing?
That was crazy. But Ro used to be pretty bad with hazing back in Robert and Sammy's days. Sammy's a little bit more... No, Sammy's still kind of fucked up. But Robert's It's pretty around Robert's time because I think it was 2013.
Yeah.
Shit's crazy, man. And I've talked to because I talked to the older guys, and their process was like 12 weeks of you have to basically the pledging process. It's long.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be. Now it's not as long, and you had to wear like specific pledge attire. And this is all at that time, so this doesn't really happen. Or no, this doesn't happen at all anymore. At least not in our chapter. You can't wash your pledge attire for the entire process.
Oh.
Entire length. So it'd be like 12 weeks wearing the same clothes.
That's fucking disgusting. I could never.
Yeah.
I'd be using that fucking Febreze thing like every fucking day.
I forgot who. I don't think it was from the Road chapter, but other guys have had similar things in their old process. One guy said that he would switch it like every few days so it still looked dirty, but it was clean. It was like just dirty enough where it still looked like it was the same. So you got to be smart about that. For if anybody wants to pledge any fraternity, sorority, you got to be smarter than the people that are screaming at you, because they're gonna tell you to do stuff, and it's like it's stupid. Find a way to do it without actually doing it. There's many ways around it. But at that time, no, you had to do this shit. And they'll take them out because we have a lot of woods out here. Take them out to the woods, like 1 a.m, and just have them there, like on their elbows and shit for like 5 hours or whatever.
Oh God.
And then I talked to Robert. I was like, yeah, it's not really like that anymore. They don't do that shit. I'm like, they don't haze anymore, or not like how they did back then. And he's like, it wasn't even hazing way. I'm like, you lit people on fire. And then you know what he says? He's like, it wasn't even that bad though.
Oh my God.
Like, you lit people on fire, dude. What the fuck? I talked to the guy that lit on fire. He was like, yeah, it wasn't that bad. I was like, this shit was funny. But yeah, there's crazy hazing stories or crazy sorority or fraternity stuff that I've heard. It's cool. I mean, it really benefited me to actually join it, because I was never gonna join a fraternity or just be like, why the fuck would I ever do that?
Yeah.
But it helped me in a lot of ways, and one big way was when I first moved out here for my new job. I didn't have a place to stay, that area, because that's such a small town. It was 5,000-6,000 people. There's very limited place to live. So apartments are all booked. Ended up buying a house, but it takes a while to actually process all the paperwork. And I had already started my job. So luckily, my big in the fraternity. So big is a guy who's already a member and kind of takes you on and guides you through the rest of the process. You get your big like halfway through. He was on the regional board. He still is. And he asked around if somebody could help, or it has a place where I could stay.
Yeah.
In Waco, because Waco was 40 minutes from my job. And the regional director, who I'd never met before, never talked to or anything, he was like, yeah, you could stay with me in my house.
Chingon.
So I stayed at his house for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
For while my house was getting ready. With him, his fiance and his kid. So, I mean, if I wouldn't have joined this fraternity, that wouldn't happen. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Probably would have been living in your car, fucking homeless as fuck.
In my car, I had to go get a hotel for like 2 weeks.
Oh man,
Shitload of money.
Yeah.
So there's good things that come about it. If all you want to do is party, you get fucked up. I mean, you can do that anyways. Just go downtown and get fucked up.
Yeah.
There's people that join just for parties, and that's really stupid. Because you just You get in trouble.
Yeah, and then there's people like I know one guy, can't say his name, mutual friend. Anyways, he's very much like, yeah, if it's not like for the fraternity, like I don't talk to anyone, like ever. And I'm
Oh,
like, what? He's like, yeah, like nobody ever wants to hang out. I'm like, I want to just go back because like at least they will hang out because of the events and stuff. If not, like nobody wants to hang out. And I'm like, I mean, buddy, I'm your friend. You never want to hang out with me? He's like, it's because I'm busy. I'm like, then? Like, what do you mean? He's like, but other people, like, nobody wants to hang out. I'm like, I don't know, like, I don't know, man. But I think that's like kind of a common occurrence with a lot of people that join like different fraternities. It's like, well, they want a friend group since they can't necessarily make friends on their own, I guess. Or not like that, but like it's just like a
yeah.
little harder for them.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that definitely that happens, and there are people that go, and the way it's phrased, it sounds bad or sad. You're like, I need friends. It's not always like that. It's just all. It's also more of finding a community of people that you can relate with
Yeah, yeah.
and just hang out with. And of course, you don't need a fraternity or a sorority for that.
Mm-hmm.
If that's really all you want, then go join a fucking club or something.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of other things that you can do or be a part of.
Join a mariachi.
That's what you want. If you join mariachi, you're gonna have friends that are 15 to 50, and they're gonna be fucking crazy.
And they all fucking drink. Like, I mean, they're all fucking alcoholics, probably. Not all of them.
You want drinks, cocaine, and strippers being a mariachi.
Or heroin. If you go to San Antonio. I think you know what I'm talking about.
San Antonio is fucking. Those guys go hard. You know, there's not really like hardcore drug users in Austin, like mariachi.
No. Well, and besides like coke users, but like
Maybe if it's not like big or nothing, use it like a
yeah,
lot.
yeah.
Not like San Antonio where they'll literally finish a gig and drive straight to the coke dealer
Yeah.
on the way back home.
Like there's no meth heads or like meth head mariachis in Austin as far as I know.
Yeah, nah. There's heavy ass drinkers.
Oh yeah. Dude, I discovered that like whether it be Austin, San Antonio, like here in Texas or even LA, like in California, dude, like almost like every other charro has a DUI.
Yeah.
Like,
Yo, Asael has one.
really?
And I'm like, dude, why did you not get deported? What the fuck?
Wait, I thought he was legal. No?
No.
Oh, I thought he had
That's
fixed
why.
his papers or something already.
No, I think the chick that he got with is also illegal.
Oh my god! Because who got arrested last time too? Was
In Austin or?
yeah, in Austin.
Oh.
I think it was Leo. Leo got put in the slammer. I don't know for what. Oh, it was. It wasn't like anything. He wasn't doing anything wrong per se. He just had an unpaid something. But yeah, they put him in jail. And, like,
okay.
or
Yeah,
they put him in the holding thing and like.
I don't know how the system works. But what? Well, Leo can. I think Leo has perm or visas.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Because his family comes back and forth.
Yeah.
So I think he would fine. But it's still like you get pulled over, and then you're drinking, and you're illegal, and they just let you go. Like,
Yeah. They're just like, well, I mean, we're not the border patrol, so you're free to go.
yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's cool. I don't think they should be deported, but it's just weird. Like I don't know what the system is then.
Like you would assume that they would, that they'd be like, oh, well, you don't have your papers, so we're gonna like transfer you over to Customs and Border Patrol, and they can take care of you. But it's like, no, they don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, they could call ICE.
Yeah.
Just have to call ICE, and I'll take them. But
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends on like the county if they care enough to want to do that.
yeah. But there's a lot of guys. Some or AA stuff like that. Some programs. I know there's a lot that had to do like fucking defensive driving or courses to be able to drive again and shit.
Yeah, some more have more than one DUI.
There's a couple that can't drive that I know in Austin.
Oh, really?
They're like not allowed to
Oh my god.
because they took away their license. Yes.
Like,
yeah. What?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think you
Well,
can say their names. But.
No, but I mean, it's the older guys.
Oh, okay.
Or well, he's not that old, but
What's he playing? Nah, maybe that's giving too much information.
he plays the accordion.
The accordion. Plays the tololoche.
Yeah, there's no more accordion players. So I don't know if you ever played with a guy named Don Mundo.
No.
He was an accordion player. He lived in Taylor, but he played with this group with Sergio, Mexico Lindo.
Yeah.
He died, I think last year.
Oh damn! COVID.
I believe so. Yeah.
Oh shit.
That was crazy. He was one of the only accordion players in Austin. Like that's what he would play, and he'd go to the gigs.
Yeah.
And man, we would do some wapangos, and we would play for like 10 minutes straight because this guy would not stop playing. Because the client asked for wapango, he's like, okay, and just start, and I'm like, yo, I'm tired.
Yeah.
So you play arronia, you don't stop playing.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And it's tiring.
Yeah.
Just fucking doing this shit. 10 minutes for a guitarrón. It hurts.
Yeah. There's this dude from in Laredo, also same like situation. There's only one accordion player. And he plays with this group called Mariachi Laredo Show. And yeah, dude, he can play a wapango for like a while. And he'll just be fucking like playing and playing and playing. I'm like, wait, ya cale? And he's like, no, let's keep going. I'm not done. I'm like, one more turn. I was like, okay.
I want to buy an accordion. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I want to get one of those. That kind of has like the keyboard, or keyboard accordion. I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's what they're called, but.
I guess this would be easier to play. Well, especially if you know piano.
Yeah, and like with my, I don't want to be able to get because most of them like you have to play with the right hand.
Yeah.
But if there's a left-handed one, it'd probably be easy for me because I can just like, for some reason like my left hand is just like a lot faster even on the piano, which is weird because
that's your bass notes.
Yeah.
Well, that's why it would be faster.
Well, like you would think that this hand would be slower on piano because you don't need it a lot to be moving fast.
Yeah.
Compared to like this hand, which the right hand that like does more of the melodic stuff, but no.
I think you're broken.
Probably, yeah.
You think when you're like born upside down or something?
Actually, about that. Well, my mom had like an inverted uterus, so like I couldn't even be born naturally. Like, it was actually like
Where'd you come
a freak accident that like I was even like born, because like apparently my dad also like he had some form of cancer where he was like, yeah, I'm what is it called, sterile?
Yeah, we can't have kids.
Yeah. And so him and my mom would just be like, okay, well, he can't have kids, I can't have kids. Fuck it. And then like one time she's like, I think I'm pregnant. And he's like, no, that's impossible. And she's like, right? He's like, what the fuck? He's like, how'd you get pregnant? And I was like, I don't know. And yeah, sure enough, like my mom was pregnant and he was like, oh, okay. Gotta go.
Alright, see ya.
He's like, got a blast, like fucking Jimmy Neutron. But yeah, when they had to plan out like how I was gonna be born and everything, so they were like, well, your insurance can only cover you from so and so date, and that's kind of the reason I was born on Christmas Day, because the doctor was like, well, I'm available that day, and they like induced the it was almost how like they. I think it's kind of similar to how they induce like an abortion to make like the baby come out. So
Okay.
yeah, they gave my mom like that medicine. And my mom was like, "Oh, water broke." I was like, "Okay," and they just like had to do the cesarean and stuff because I wouldn't have been able to come out the other end. Because like, well, because of the uterus all like flipped.
Yeah.
I was like, "God damn it, mom, your shit's flipped." What the fuck?
That's why you're an only child.
Yeah, because she can't have it. Or I don't think she can have any more. Or I mean, at this point, she's like a lot older. She can't have kids anymore. But like, even when she was younger, like she couldn't have had any more. Oh, because technically, I think I was supposed to be one of two. I think I was supposed to have a twin brother or sister or whatever. But my mom had a bunch of tumors, and one of the tumors just fucking ate the other cells up. Yeah. So when like I was taken out, they're like, "Oh, we found something else," and they took out a huge like mass, and they're like, "What the fuck is this?" And my mom was like, "Oh, what is that?" And they're like, "Oh, it's a tumor." She's like, "What the fuck? Like that was in me too?" I was like, "Yeah, I could have like eaten like the baby, but it didn't."
Man.
Yeah.
So you were born upside.
I was
You got
literally
some wires
born.
crossed.
Yep, probably. Yeah.
That's why you're the way you are. Do you think how much do you believe in that nurture versus nature?
See, I don't know because like okay, for example, like when I say like my dad was like literally like God bless, like it's because he fucking like I think I was born in maybe like the year after he left to Los Angeles to go look. Well, actually no, he left further up in Texas to look for work, and then he just left to Los Angeles and just he didn't take my mom or me with him because he was like, nah, deuces, like I don't want to take care of a kid or whatever. Which I mean, whatever, you know. But yeah, I mean, I wasn't raised by him, yet when we hang out, like my mom, like she'll be like kind of like, what the fuck, because like I have a lot of the same tendencies that he does, whether it be the way we sit, the way we walk, the way we talk, or just like even like yeah, just certain behaviors that weren't learned. I still do them, yet like you know, and it's like how is that possible if, you know, I wasn't, I mean, like, he wasn't there to take care of me, to, like, show me that, you know?
Well, it's probably the guy who's controlling you in the simulation
Right?
inputted all this into your code to be just like your dad. And I don't know why he got rid of your dad. Maybe he just wanted to fuck with you.
Right.
But the guy who's controlling you right now is like, all right, make this guy the same.
Well, he's just a carbon copy.
You know, that theory is so fucking crazy, right? That we live in simulation. But have you heard of the metaverse?
Are you talking about the fucking thing that what's his face came out with? Oh no, wrong thing. I thought you were talking about the Meta app thing that not app, but the Mark Zuckerberg came up with.
Or the Facebook.
Yeah, the Meta, which is basically the metaverse.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It's already in development, and it's already been in development for a while. And people argue that, well, we kind of already live in our own virtual world at times. Or you're just like, if you're on Twitter or Instagram or something, you're kind of like not yourself. Sometimes you take your own persona online, and well, now you'll be able to be that person online and live in a virtual reality, which is fucking insane. Which in a way coincides with that theory that we live in a simulation, because things keep advancing, and now we're going into a virtual reality where we're creating our own world and control everything in it. Would you live in that virtual world?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It just depends what I'd be doing in that virtual world, I guess.
I see. You can do what you want, I guess.
Yeah.
There are logistical things that I've seen people. It's kind of funny. It's like, how do you eat? Like, if you're just gonna be wired in for I don't know how many hours or days, like, how are you gonna survive?
Mm-hmm.
And one guy was like, "Well, it'll be years in the future, but you basically be hooked up to, I guess, like an IV,
Yeah.
feed you nutrients."
Kind of like in the Matrix, I think the same thing that they were hooked up to was also like feeding them, or maybe not. I don't know. That was actually one of those like things in the Matrix that didn't make a lot of sense because they were just hooked up to it for like fucking almost years.
Yeah, and it's just like
And they would get up all like healthy and shit, and it's like, what?
you could just walk like normally. This shouldn't happen.
Yeah,
Your muscles will go away.
yeah. It'd literally be skin and bones, like.
But I mean, it's gonna happen. Virtual reality has been around for a long time, and a long time. I mean, when we were kids, because I remember one specific game. It was like this Power Rangers or Ninja Turtles type of game.
Mm-hmm.
Put this helmet on, and I had it, and it felt so weird. It felt fucking real, and the graphics, of course, were like of 2005 video game graphics. They weren't great, but it still felt weird because you had this helmet on and you had no sense of anything around you other than what you're watching because the screen was there, and it really felt like you were in that game. And that was like 2005. Now, you'd probably be able to like feel things and get lost. It's basically gonna be like Ready Player One.
Yeah. Like it's cool. It's a cool advancement, but at the same time, there was this TikTok I saw the other day of this guy being like, yeah, like it's probably what's gonna happen with the whole like for like the meta thing that Mark Zuckerberg is making. It's like it's probably gonna be like just a shit ton of ads on there, and it's gonna be like one big commercial thing, and poor people are still going to be poor, even poorer in there, and rich people are still going to be rich in there. Like,
yeah,
the playing field is still not going to be equal, even in a fucking virtual reality world. And then what you're going to see, like, in the actual world is just going to be the same thing with a lot more fucking billboards and a lot more advertisements everywhere. It's going to be, like, depressing. Very dystopian.
yeah, and so that is the direction it's heading.
Yeah.
Especially since I don't know if you heard about this, but Nike has a like basically I don't know the actual term because it's never even happened, but they have already reserved advertisement spots in this metaverse.
Really?
And they paid I don't know how much amount of money, 500,000 or 500 million. I don't know what the amount of money was.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have advertisements in the metaverse.
Oh damn.
And they've already reserved their like spot
Yeah.
for it, and it's just like shit. And I guess for now you would have to put your own money, I guess, into your virtual account, and then be able to buy stuff because and more companies are going to start doing it, like Versace or Balenciaga. They're going to have their products virtual that you can go into a store and buy and put on virtually. And it's so fucking weird.
It's so stupid. It's like, man, it's like so annoying because it's like shit like that should be able to just be like free, you know?
Yeah. So that's the other thing right now is Facebook and a certain amount of like companies are driving this.
Mm-hmm.
The way that this becomes pure or like for anybody and everybody and just live your own life is basically what Bitcoin is, how it's decentralized. There isn't one thing that rules over it because Bitcoin is ruled by the blockchain, which nobody owns. The blockchain is just code that keeps going. And for the same thing with this metaverse, you need somebody somehow to make this decentralized, so where it's not one entity that's ruling everything. And that will probably happen, probably be a while. But to that point, it'd be crazy. I mean, what'd you do? Could you learn instruments in virtual reality, or would you know how to play them if you already know in real life?
They'd probably set up an interface to make it like extremely easy, but yeah, probably you wouldn't actually be able to learn an instrument like how you would now. At least I don't think, unless they try to make the experience that realistic, you know. Like I'm sure for guitars that'd be easy. Pianos that'd be kind of easy. I don't know. I feel like it'd be harder to like program like doing that for a guitar than a piano or a trumpet.
Kind of easier as the keys.
Yeah.
Trumpet would be interesting because you can blow, but I'll just recognize how does the shape of your mouth now matter, or could you just put your mouth on it however and blow?
Yeah, there's but this is like early 2000s. There's this guy named James Morrison. He created an electronic trumpet, and he basically could make it sound like anything. A MIDI trumpet, and he could make it sound like whatever he wanted to. And he would just be like all up in the range and shit. But I mean, he's like a really, really good trumpet player. But all he would do, like he wouldn't even like actually buzz into the mouthpiece. He'd just like blow air. So he was just like, yeah, I don't get tired. It's like, yeah, of course you don't get tired because all you're doing is like for like 30 or whatever, like as long as you want, really.
Yeah, I mean, pretty fucking insane. I don't know what would be like. One thing that people did note that the biggest, or one of the very positive things is learning would be a lot better, a lot more interactive, and you can actually experience certain things. I don't know, history. If they upload this into this virtual reality where you can go experience things like Civil War or historical things that they have documented, and you can actually live those or see them, you can learn better that way. I don't know how much that would benefit you if you are going to stay in that virtual reality.
Yeah.
Because everybody would have easy access to it.
That reminds me, did you ever hear about, what was that game? Where you start off on a fucking flying bus. A lot of people play it. Where you have like all the emotes with the dances and the...
Fortnite? Or?
Fortnite, yeah. God damn, dude, I forgot the name.
Fortnite.
I know, like what the hell?
The biggest game in the world right now.
I know, I even played it for a little bit. Anyways, yeah, they started like, they wanted to like pay homage to like Martin Luther King. So they did that. Did you see that?
Oh, dude, that was so bad. Yeah.
It's like, man, you're like fucking flossing on this fucking like memorial. Like, nah, that's fucked up, bro. Like,
that was bad. But the biggest, I don't know, the name of one of the dances, it was the whip.
Yeah, and they were doing it in the, I forgot which part of that fucking level, and I was like, bro, that's fucked up. Like,
oh, you overlooked that one.
Yeah. and then I think they tried like fixing, like they were like, we're not even gonna take off the level, we're just gonna get rid of that, like certain emotes, and I think that was one of them. They were like, yeah, not that one, because everybody was doing it, like, you know, to like point out the irony, I guess. But I was like, bro, like what are these kids really gonna like?
Yeah, that was just money. But I think Fortnite is one of those that big real life companies have started putting their products in.
Yeah.
So you can get skins for like Balenciaga or Nike or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think it costs money,
Yeah.
real money to get the virtual skins. And all it is status.
Yeah, because
And
it's
it
like,
doesn't change anything about your character, but it doesn't make it better.
no, I don't know.
Just looks different. But I think they'll have virtual gigs in the virtual reality. Yes.
Yeah.
Mariachi's gonna keep going.
Oh no.
Keep going until the next life.
It's a virtual aside. Oh, dude. I mean, this is a little like talking about aside, not necessarily the virtual world. One of the going back to like that I was hanging out with like Monica and Ricky and all them. Ricky plays in this group there in LA, and one of these guys, his name is Alejandro Arellano, and he looks like Asael, dude, like hardcore. Let me see if I can find a picture of him. You're gonna be like, what the fuck?
Like I said now.
Yeah, like, dude, they have the same build. Like, they kind of talk almost very similar. You'd be like, what?
I said is a unique guy. The sense that you don't shut the fuck up. They all we do, the whole group. We just fucking. I should probably show you guys doing Relampogo now, but after being together for so many years, you just talk shit to each other all day. As soon as we ride together to all the gigs, so we're together for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
It's just all it is, talking shit. All he does, like,
Yeah. See, like, I like put a picture of like us. I look right next to him. I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's crazy. Dude, and I told him, I was like, dude, you look like this trumpet player from here, from Austin. And then he's like, you look like the trumpet player from LA. And I was like, what? He's like, you sure I haven't met you before? And I was like, not me. I've never been to LA. He's like, And this guy doesn't play trumpet, though. He plays violin and guitar. Like chingon, dude.
I
It's
mean,
really
LA
good.
has great musicians. One day I'll be as good as Eli.
He
Eli,
was
my number one.
the gold standard, man.
I put that shit on Instagram for the people that follow the podcast Instagram a couple months ago, probably in August, where I put the number one guitarron player in Austin is back. What's that?
Mariachi Vargas logo.
What?
Like he played with them, yeah.
The trumpet player or the violin?
Yeah.
Oh, he played with Varga.
Yeah.
Oh shit,
That's yeah.
he's good.
Yeah. Really good.
But he actually played with them, not like somebody that says that they were on stage.
Oh
With the group.
I played with Mariachi Cobre and Mariachi Vargas in
What's that?
1978. Yeah, man.
I was talking about the other guy that says that, but yeah, that guy.
Wait, which one?
The younger one.
The younger one. What's he look like?
He's thin. Says like, yeah, I was on stage with Vargas and Camperos in California.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, he talks a big game too, but then he can't back it up. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
He gets mad. He's like, dude, why doesn't anybody call me for gigs? It's like, man, you're like last resort. Like now.
Oh man, played with him recently. I don't know. I'll circle back around to it, but the gig or what the fuck was I talking about before this? You brought up the guy
Virtual Asael.
virtual. I said No, yeah. I mean, would gigs continue? I don't know. It's just such a thing that's never happened, where anything could happen. I
Yeah.
guess you take a virtual serenata to your virtual girlfriend in a virtual reality.
Oh god. And then it turns out it's some fucking like 50-year-old dude.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing. I'm like, I guess would you create your own character to look however you want it, or would it look
Well,
like you?
I think the ideal thing would be that everyone looks like their character, right? But some people are not going to do that, and it's going to be like some fucking like really sad, depressed like 30-year-old
I wonder if it,
dressing up like a girl and catfishing guys or something.
but it's like it would look like you, right? Let's say that's the whole point, and that's the only way it can look. Your character is gonna look like you, and there's no way around it. Except you actually get in the virtual reality, and you get surgery in the virtual reality to change your appearance, your character's appearance, and now you look different. That'd be fucking. Ah, dude, it's just so fucking crazy. I wonder how advanced it'll get by the time we're like 50.
Yeah. Well, dude, also talking about advancements and shit, apparently now there's going to be fucking flying cars. Did you see that?
No,
It looks like a boat. And it just like, all it does is just, it takes like maybe like 3 seconds to just fucking get off the ground. And it'll go, and it was just, yeah, it'll just start flying. But you can't even fly it in like the cities right now because, what is it, aerospace regulations and all that still.
yeah, I mean, it's the whole entire traffic system in the world would have to change.
Yeah, but I mean, that's like one step. Like if they already have the flying cars, it's just one step to be like, you know what? Okay, now we're gonna implement it. Especially if they're like all electric cars.
I want to play guitar on Mars.
On Mars.
I want to be the first person to ever play guitar on Mars.
Chingon.
That, as soon as I do that, that's it.
You're like there. I can die in peace.
I mean,
I
just
can die happy.
lay here.
Yeah.
Every person asks, would you go to Mars? Man, so many people, so many different answers, but most of them are like, fuck, no, it's far, scary.
Yeah.
I would fucking go.
What is this? Aliens? Yeah.
It's even better. You know, I relate it exactly to the same way that the people that crossed the ice bridge and the people that sailed across from Europe to America. They didn't know what was out there. It could have been nothing. It could have been months or years of water.
Yeah.
But they still went and did it.
Well,
And there's plenty of people that said, you're fucking crazy. There's nothing out there. You're going to die.
yeah.
And they found something.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people did die. They didn't get to see it.
Yeah. Same thing with going to Mars.
I mean, yeah.
People are going to die.
Like who was it? Was it Elon Musk that was like, yeah, people are gonna die. Like I'm not even gonna lie. Like they're just gonna die. Like
Yeah.
it might be like full populations that are just gonna die. And I was like, God damn, dude, like it's morbid as fuck. He's like, they're gonna die.
It's just, I mean, everything history has shown. I mean, the Plymouth Rock, or the people,
Yeah.
that whole colony, Roanoke, just disappeared.
Yep.
They all died. Unless aliens took them. That's the theory. Aliens. But it's the same thing. And but people are like, no, it's different. You're going out of space. To us, it's different because now we have a bigger perspective of the world and the universe.
Yeah.
But back then, that little country or Europe, that was the entire world to those people. There
Yeah.
was nothing else. They just see water. And they're like, let's go find something. And they did. And I think that's the same way it's with Mars. Well, we can see it. We know it's there. Just go and see what we can do over there. And I think it's just a natural manifestation for people to keep going,
Yeah.
keep exploring. Because if people didn't just have that drive within them, as like I forget the actual word, but you're born with it, then we would all still be in Africa, just in that continent, and never have left. People leave and explore.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually, we're gonna. I don't know what the fuck. Man, it's so curious of what life is gonna look like in 1,000 years.
We're all gonna be just fucking huge just blobs and shit.
we're gonna be floating heads.
Oh yeah, like the fucking. Do you remember that? You used to watch SpongeBob as a kid.
Yeah.
Remember that? It's when SpongeBob makes those statues. The musical like statues of him.
Oh yeah. That episode's so weird.
Yeah.
It like, watching it as a kid. You're watching it, he's like, all right, he's just going through a phase or whatever. He just goes out to the woods or the jellyfish fields, and then it jumps like 3,000 years in the future.
I'm like, how long did he live for? Like what?
Yeah. I want to fly.
You wanna fly?
Yeah.
Grow wings.
But have you come across a girl? Oh, you know what? We never talked about, well, because you haven't been on a podcast since then.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the time you got slapped in the face with money at a strip club?
Sure.
I still have the video. I haven't posted it, but that shit was funny. It was Cinco de Mayo.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, you were there too. You weren't
That
at the
was-
gig, but yeah, I mean, you weren't like playing at the gig, but you were there. Yeah, it's because I can't really say the names of the groups technically.
Of what group stuff?
Oh, like the groups that I was playing with to do those gigs.
Oh yeah, that day.
Yeah, but well, there used to be one group that I used to play with that they would always get contracted to play at the strip club, and it was just like a serenata, whatever. And they would make us get on the main stage, and we'd play like 2 songs because the DJ was like, okay, the girls got to keep making money.
Mm-hmm.
And so we'd do our thing. They'd throw a little money, be like, okay, cool, happy Cinco de Mayo, whatever. And then we leave, right? Well, this time around, that group couldn't go. But the main guy for that group was like, hey, Noel, do you want to do the gig? Like, you get a couple guys, and y'all go do it. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay, I'll do it. Some good money. And so we had like that whole Cinco de Mayo, like we were busy, like since the morning, and we just kept going. And I was like, okay, time to do the last gig. It's gonna be the strip club gig. I was like, okay, fun. And then like I think we stopped by the Charra hangout, the official Charra hangout, the unofficial official.
The Austin Charra hangout, yeah.
Yeah, warehouse, and then so we stayed there for like maybe like 30 minutes, and then like, okay, time to go to the strip club. And well, we got on the main stage, we start playing, and I forgot what song I started playing, but I just felt like, as we're playing, I just felt this fucking like thing like hit my face, and I was like, who the fuck threw, like, what did they throw at me? And I look, and all of a sudden I just see like a bunch of dollar bills just like fucking flying all over me, and I was like, what the fuck? What's going on? Like, who hit? It was so hard that I even like stopped playing because I was like you couldn't even hear like what I was playing. I was like, oh my god. And it was because one of the strippers too, that she's the one who threw the money at me.
Oh yeah, there was a stripper that threw money.
And she was like, God, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, what's wrong with you? But yeah, we made a lot in tips. Made more than the strip. Nah, I'm kidding. I was gonna be like, we made more than the strippers. No, we probably didn't.
If you would have started stripping, you would.
Right? Like, you ever heard of Eli's joke when they're like, are you a mariachi? He's like, no, I'm a stripper. It's like, I charge per the hour. No, but yeah, I remember that. And we actually, we uploaded a picture on, I don't know if it's the official page or like, it was like Louis' Instagram, where there's a picture of us with like a donkey that they brought. I was like, that's good.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a little racist, but okay. They brought a little donkey, and like the strippers were taking like there's a couple pictures with like us and the strippers too. They were like doing the splits and shit. Do you remember that? You saw that?
I was there.
Yeah.
It cost $30. Well, so it was I think $15 or $20 cover charge
Really?
to get in, and
Damn,
then
that's pricey.
it was a 2-drink minimum. Well, I don't know if I had to. I don't think I had to buy drinks, but if you buy a drink, you got to buy at least 2.
Oh.
And probably spent maybe like $30-something.
Yeah.
So it was worth it because so you get slapped in the face by money on the stage.
Yeah.
It was so unexpected that I kind of got it on camera. It's on camera, but it's like at an angle or off to the side.
Yeah. But you
'Cause
can
I
still
didn't
see
think-
the money just.
Yeah, you see the money flying. I didn't expect that, so my camera wasn't pointed at you. It was I think Matt because he was singing,
Yeah.
and it was just
You still see it in the back of you. And I was like, oh, god damn it.
I was just sitting there, right? I should have gone closer to the stage, but there were some tall strippers.
Oh,
There's
remember that
one
one
that-
girl? She was 6'4", I think.
This white girl had heels, really thin, and she was so tall. It was just be like, pick me up type of tall.
Yeah, please, I need up. No, like
uppies.
a baby. Yeah, I need uppies.
Yeah.
The girl probably would have looked at you like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and when Matt called me, you're all going to warehouse, I was laying in bed because I think I had just finished gigs.
Uh-huh.
We finished early because we don't fucking get Cinco de Mayo gigs.
Yeah. Really?
No, not our clients. Our clients are all Mexican.
Oh, I just have a bunch of white people.
We
contact us.
We did a couple, but they were restaurants. Like the restaurants hired us.
Yeah.
I think we maybe had like 3, maybe 4 hours.
Mm.
But we were booked as fuck that weekend because it was Mother's Day.
Oh,
Mother's Day
okay.
and Cinco de Mayo fell on the same week.
Yeah.
I remember everybody being exhausted that week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was laying in bed and he's like, we're going to the warehouse. I was like, fuck. All right, I'll go. So I went and played pool, and then you're like, we're going to a strip club. And I was like, all right, fuck it, I'll go. I went, and yeah, there's a fucking donkey in there. It's loud ass music.
Yeah. You're like, well, if you have to twist my hand to go, I guess I'll
I was
go.
like, I want to go to a strip club. All right, we'll go.
Chinga.
But yeah, he got hit in the face with money.
Yeah.
You never
a fun
thought.
gig.
You ever think that would happen? Like you imagine yourself in high school or community college, right? You're doing mariachi, and you're like, one day, I'm gonna move to Austin. I'm gonna play in a group, and I'm gonna be in a strip club, and someone's gonna throw money at my face.
You know, that wasn't the first time I played it. Well, so because that strip club I played at twice, but even in Laredo, I used to play with, at a strip club too. I mean, not regularly, right? It was like,
yo, they should have mariachis at a strip club, like a weekly thing.
I don't know, man.
I
don't.
I think it would do good. Well, I think the mariachis would make money.
I mean, I'm sure, but they'd have to probably also be strippers at the same time.
There are certain groups that would do it.
Yeah. The ones that go, moverlo, moverlo,
They're already
And they're
stripping.
like, yeah. I mean, they're already fucking sitting on people. And, no vale la pena. They're like all sitting on fucking clients and shit.
It would be good. Have a Mexican night where all the strippers dance to mariachi music
No.
for like 3 hours.
Oh, no. Maybe like salsa music, maybe. But I don't know about mariachi music. Like, bam, ba-dum, ba-dum, da-da. They're like twerking to the... I was like, I don't know, man. Oh, actually, there is. I remember seeing this on TikTok. These girls, that's exactly what they were doing. Twerking to like El Son de la Negra. And I was like, what's going on? Like, they were just like in like trajes, but they weren't trajes. They were like the pants.
Mm-hmm.
But they were like, I think spandex or whatever. And yeah, the whole time it was just them twerking and like, not ballet folklorico, like at all. Something completely different. And I was like, okay. It's like, this might be a little sacrilegious.
Would you watch Ballet Folklorico if they were in bikinis?
I'd be very confused.
They're just flapping their arms. They're flapping their arms to nothing. Because that's part of the dances.
God.
They're just there with their bikinis.
They're like, and I was like, well, you're not rough.
Yeah, there's this girl I went to high school with who she's a stripper now in Austin.
Oh, yeah, you told me about her. Yeah.
It's crazy.
In Laredo, I remember the first time I played at that one strip club in Laredo. We're walking in, and I see this one girl that I knew from middle school. From middle school, dude. And I'm like, what? Like, hey, I remember you. And then she looks at me. Yeah, right. I was like, we'll call her. Yeah, we'll call her Sandy. I was like, Sandy, and then she's like, Noel, and I was like, and she's like over here, like all on top of a guy, like fucking like riding him and grinding on him and shit. And I was like, and then she looks at me like, oh my god, like what the fuck, like all like embarrassed. I was like, what are you embarrassed about? Like you're making money. It's your job.
You're making
like,
more money than me.
Right. Yeah, I remember that gig, dude. There was this like huge guy, like he probably weighed like 400 pounds, like one of those like my 400-pound life guys, but he was like 6'4", 6'5", and it was funny because he would breathe really heavy, and we were like, yeah, dude, it sounds like he's gonna be like, like he's gonna fucking inhale like the vihuela player, because the vihuela player was like 5'4", 5'5", like it sounds like he's gonna fucking like inhale him.
Yeah, look at this girl. We're probably going to wrap up soon, but look at this girl. Right?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
It's all fake.
Really?
All of it.
Damn.
I mean, here, and the waist.
Yeah.
And a little bit of the face.
God damn.
Dude, I grew up with this girl. And when I say I grew up with this girl, I mean, our dads were friends as kids.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the same age.
Yeah.
So, from like birth, known her. And sometime around middle school, didn't really see her much. Because, well, I was just kind of, we went to different middle schools. We lived in like cities that were next to each other, but she went to a different middle school, so we didn't go to the same school.
Yeah.
And she looks nothing like what she used to.
Not really.
And when I saw a picture of her, because I hadn't seen her, so the last time I saw her, right, it was probably maybe 12.
Uh-huh.
So the next time we're like 20 or 2019, around there.
Yeah.
The last time I saw her in person was actually last year.
Mm-hmm.
Her dad's funeral, actually. He passed away.
Oh, man.
He had cancer. And I saw her, and I was like, dude, that's fucking insane. It's just everything changed. And apparently she got it done in Mexico. It's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, it's a lot cheaper, but, man, it's a little risky sometimes.
Yeah.
Because, like, I remember, so I used to go to this church in Laredo, and there's these 3 girls, they're sisters. And they all got work done in Mexico. And one of them, like, her nose, it was all, like, treacle shit. And she was like, no, like, it came out okay. And I'm like, no, it didn't. Like, that looks rough. And the other sister, she got, like, some other, like, she got some stuff done to her, like, chin, because she didn't like her chin. And then, like, her nose, too. And then the other girl, like, she got, like, liposuction and like did a bunch of stuff, which I mean, like, you know, to each their own, right? Like they definitely like look a little uneven.
Well, it's just the way she's wearing the dress.
Oh,
But yeah.
mm-hmm. But like, yeah, like no judgment, but it's always like, man, it's always risky getting that stuff done in Mexico. It's cheaper, but it's a little scary. Because some of those doctors are like, hey, just kind of do this and just slash your face. And I'm like, bro, like.
Start stabbing you.
Yeah.
Like, the only issue I have with this is, you know, she looks great, good. Mm-hmm. You know, people will be like, she has guys following her all around. Mm-hmm. She has a boyfriend. Fucking ugly ass motherfucker. but he is. I'll show him right now. This figure is impossible to get naturally.
Oh, well, yeah.
Like, there you can't, because you see her legs,
Mm-hmm.
then her hips, right, and then her ass, right,
Yeah.
but then her waist, like this. Like, if your waist is that small, that means you've burned a lot of fat, and fat is gonna shrink from everywhere.
Yeah.
So this particular figure is not natural. I really don't know. I've never seen anybody naturally like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just the biggest thing I throw it off, I guess, is the waist.
Mm.
She made it so small, where it's like, okay, that's not normal.
Yeah. Well, unless you do waist training.
Yeah, that is some. Yeah, if you have like just freaking corsets that you wear
Mm.
every day, and there are people that are naturally, but that's horrible for so many reasons. Your
Oh, yeah.
organs
Well, yeah,
are
it's
literally
pushing down your
rearranged,
organs. Yeah.
and it's bad.
Oh no.
So when I
He's a
saw
little
this,
cross-eyed. He's like,
you ever see those pictures that pop up on Facebook where it's this really beautiful white Mexican girl, this ugly ass dark Mexican guy, and it's just like a bunch of pictures of like, how the fuck are these guys getting these beautiful Monterrey girls? And then I'm like, oh shit, it's real.
hey man, it's because they got other things. They make up for it in
I
other
think
ways.
another thing is they were together before she got all that surgery.
Yeah.
So, I guess.
I mean, hey man, sometimes looks aren't what's the word? Sometimes looks aren't everything that people are looking for.
No, but in this specific case, I would find that kind of ironic if she were to say her looks aren't important. I'm like, you spent all this money to change everything about how you look. She's like, looks don't matter. I'm like, chick.
It's like, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, cause like, okay, there's a difference between like, caring about looks as far as like love and attraction for someone else, and then caring about looks for yourself, for your self-esteem, I guess. I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's a whole like different subject. That's a lot to talk about.
Yeah. But I just found that, and I showed the guys yesterday in the group. They're like, because I showed her the first picture just like that. They're like, oh, who's that? Fuck is that? You know, they get all excited because they're old and Mexican.
Yeah.
So they get all turned on by everything. Dude, you know, the amount of times you're driven with like old Mexican mariachis, and they'll just be watching hardcore porn.
What?
Doesn't it never happen to you?
No.
Like, you know,
What the
Laredo
hell?
or anything?
No.
Especially, it's mostly the older guys, like 50 and up.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because they're like, you know, they're older, right? They got glasses and stuff. And then,
Yeah.
so he put his glasses down and move them down a little bit. Has his phone like down here. Just
It's like watching a girl get railed or something. What the hell?
yeah. And since that has the volume up and shit, that happened a lot in the valley, where they'll be sitting in the front seat, because we all ride together, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's a
yeah.
very common thing. And it's fucking what? And then sometimes you're like, hey, check this. They'll just start passing it, showing.
What the fuck? That's so weird. No, I could never.
And fucking Azael will do that sometimes. He'll just go on, scroll through, I don't know, Twitter or Facebook or something. Someone shares something, and he'll just look, and then he'll call my name. He's like, "Hey," like what? And he shows me. It's just like if they stuck a camera inside.
Oh my
something,
god.
and you can see all the walls and
Oh
shit.
my god. Are you,
like,
yeah, you ever? Okay, I came across this only because it was part of a game that I was playing with a couple friends, and we were like porn categories, and somebody was like, we were saying different things, and I was like mariachi, and they were like, that's not a thing, and I was like, yes it is, and I googled it, and the song is like cámara pelote tienes cámara pelote, and it's like with the It's gross. It's fucking funny though.
There's something that came up on it was either Facebook or something, and I wanted to post it on the Instagram, the mariachi one, but I I didn't know if I should or not. I'll probably post it now if we're gonna talk about it, but so people can see. So this video came across somebody who shared it in one of those mariachi groups, but not like the big ones here, San Antonio or Austin stuff. It was just like a smaller one where they'll share like random videos across the world. And this is just a screenshot, but this is video.
Oh my god. What the hell?
And you can hear the director. I guess the director's the older guy there saying, "Okay, now, ahora vamos a hacer gangbang."
What the fuck? No. Why is this becoming a thing, Charros? Next thing is you're gonna see is like Mariachi Gamamil making like porn too, making an only. Oh, actually, one of those guys I think made an OnlyFans.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
funny.
like they're attractive, like they work out, you know. Why not make money out of it? But I'm like,
Dude, I wonder if they put it on their business card. He put it on the money. He has
like,
the OnlyFans link.
para contrataciones de lo OnlyFans. It's like
Message me on OnlyFans.
cash up.
Oh, shit.
No, that's fucked up.
I wonder if these strippers can do that. If they can make their own business cards and have their OnlyFans link on it, like at their strip club.
Yeah. You know, that reminds me. I mean, technically, they're not the first, mariachis to do that. There's this one girl in San Antonio. You know her.
That what?
That she like. Well, okay, she was selling art, right?
Oh,
she was calling.
You know that.
Wait, I mean, it was very artsy.
That randomly came to my mind the other day. Oh, it's because this girl that went to high school with, different girl, started OnlyFans. Oh, there's a couple. And then I was like, I wonder whatever happened to that other girl. It's from San Antonio, with her website. Try looking for it. And
Yeah, I think she took it off. I mean, she was getting a lot of backlash, and then a bunch of dudes being like, "She's a whore," and I'm like, dude, like, she's just making like it's like any other person that would have an OnlyFans. Like, chill. Like, at least she's doing tasteful things. She's having like photo shoots.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
You know,
they look well done. The name for this website, in case y'all want to look it up, is it actually has a website. It's www.sexmex.xxx.
Oh my god.
If you want to see this video that talking about, this has 1.2 million views.
That's fucked up. Wait, but are they doing camarón pelota tienes camarón
They're
pelota?
doing Cielito Lindo.
Oh no, dude. Okay, because no, in the one with the camarón pelado, like there's a part. I don't know if I should be talking about this on here. It might be a little too raunchy, but she's basically like reaching her climax or whatever, and the director, he looks at the mariachi and he goes, and so you and they like bring down the volume, and then she like does her thing, and then he's like. And then they bring the volume up and everybody starts clapping, like applauding her. And she's like, thank you. And I'm like, what's going on? It's so fucking gross. I was like, what?
Man.
I was like, no, this is.
What do you think you would cross the line? Because you've played at strip clubs. You've done shit probably like you've played probably at racist people homes.
Yeah. If the client starts fucking, I'm out.
No, like I'm saying, what if they hired the group to play on a porn set, a porn video?
I'm out.
You want to do it?
I would not do it. I can't. Like, I am not coming out in a porno. Like, not even just playing, like I think that's maybe crossing the line a little too far.
Probably.
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be funny. Did you watch that video? It came out a couple weeks ago. Somebody, girl I was talking to. Oh, it was one in San Antonio. She was like, did you see this video? Because she didn't know if it was staged or not. It was a guy, I think it was in Mexico, took a mariachi to serenade this girl. but you can see the shadow in the second story, and she's like on her knees with some other guy.
Yes. I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Is that real or?
I think so. Yeah.
It was real.
Yeah.
Because she was thinking it was staged. I was like, I don't know. That nothing to that level has happened when I do gigs, but that stuff like that does happen.
Yeah.
Especially when it's like an ex-boyfriend or a guy that's in love with this girl.
I've seen a lot of those. Like there was another one that I saw where like they bring the mariachi in here, and the girl comes in, and she makes up with the Sancho first because she didn't realize her boyfriend was there, and she's like, "Oh my god!" And everybody goes, "Oh no!" And then like the boyfriend's like, "What the fuck?" And then like the Sancho's like, and he like runs out, and she's over here like, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry." And he's like, "Nah, fuck you," and he like goes like to like lay down in a corner. I'm like, what? You're like, man, dramatic ass people.
Hope that never happens. So you don't serenade girls. I mean, I've done it, but you don't do it unless I don't know, unless fucking married or been together for years or some shit.
Yeah. I've done gigs where like the girl was really mad at the guy, and she was like, "I don't want the mariachi," and where they're like, "Are we getting paid?" And we played maybe like one song. I think we played like Tres Regalos. And he was like there with his flowers, and they're like, "We don't want your fucking flowers." And like, they threw everything out. And there was another one where she was like, "Oh, like I fucking hate you, but okay, come in."
Yeah, those.
Oh, that reminds me. That was with Louis and like who else was there? I think it was Luis, me, and Julian, somebody else. Forgot. We were all, Matt. Matt was there. Yeah. And we're like, ooh.
You might have said that. Might have talked about that.
We're like, we'll see if this like turns out well. Oh, it was by us. It was an old.
Oh yeah, Matt did tell me about it.
Yeah, because we for some reason we've done a couple gigs around that area, and I'm like, where's Asael? Like, these are his gigs.
That shit. Yeah, all that crazy shit happens, man. But so, gotta recap. People racist. We're all moving to virtual reality, and if you're gonna be a mariachi, expect a lot of sex and drugs and alcohol.
Yeah, a lot of alcohol. Possibly a DUI. Just be careful with that.
Yeah, if you're gonna drive drunk, don't get caught, I guess.
or just avoid driving drunk.
Yeah, I'm saying if you're gonna drive drunk.
Yeah.
I mean, don't do it. But if you feel like it for some stupid reason,
right?
Make sure you're legal.
Not illegal.
Okay, we gotta go. Oops, wrong button. All right. I think this is episode 9 or some shit. I don't remember. It's been a while. But I want to thank Noel for filling in for Matt.
It was fun to be here, man.
Yeah, writing this this song. You know what we should do? You know what I say. Submit this for the original songwriting competition for
Oh my god.
Dude, it wins.
Bruh, that'd be funny.
All right, I'll see you guys.